Spark Books here. Today, I'm going to explain the book, Communicate with Mastery, by J D Schramm with Kara Levy. Take care, enjoy the book, and have a nice day. Communicate with Mastery, 2020, is a practical guide for senior leaders wishing to improve their communication skills. It provides actionable advice and useful strategies to become an influential speaker and a compelling writer. Key idea number 1, understand your audience to communicate well. Tweets, emails, speeches, and texts are easy to send. It may not have the desired effect. After clarifying your goal, choose a communication channel. Presentation, blog article, Slack message, or hallway chat. Before choosing, ask, how far do I need my message to go? How long? My message is formality? Which channel is simplest for my audience? Finally, outline your message using all the facts you have. List main points, supporting justifications, and instances. Communicate immediately. To do that, you must know your audience, purpose, and message. AIM is helpful. This approach helps you identify your audience and personalize your message to make an effect. Understand your audience to communicate well. First, know your audience. How? Start with LinkedIn and Google's profiles, corporate bios, conference presentations, and blogs. Glassdoor.com has anonymous employee feedback on companies and leaders. Personal contacts might be a mini focus group for your messaging. Some contacts may have unique insights. Since your core and secondary audiences may spread your message, it's crucial to study both. Secondary audiences hurt 2012 presidential candidate Mitt Romney. He spoke freely in a private meeting with affluent benefactors, unaware that a bartender videotaped everything on his iPhone. Bartender's video became viral. This hurt Romney's final 6 weeks and contributed to his loss to President Barack Obama. Understanding all prospective audiences helps you define your message's purpose, even if you're not running for government. What do I want my audience to do after hearing my message? After clarifying your goal, choose a communication channel. Presentation, blog article, Slack message, or hallway chat. Before choosing, ask, how far do I need my message to go? How long? My message is formality? Which channel is simplest for my audience? Finally, outline your message using all the facts you have. List main points, supporting justifications, and instances. Communicate immediately. Key idea number 2, manage anxiety and master verbal, vocal, and visual communication to speak with conviction. Anxiety can help or hurt. If you harness it, it can boost your energy and make public speaking fun. Is that wishful thinking? Try these methods and see. Visual communication, what the audience sees, concludes. Eye contact, posture, gestures, facial expression, body language, and attractiveness are included. Your body language, mannerisms, and utilization of space and objects make up over half of your communication. Next, blink, writing for maximum impact. First strategy, talk about your major presentation. Consider it a conversation with your audience rather than a speech. Strategy 2, view speaking engagements as opportunities rather than threats. I'm delighted to convey my message, not nervous to speak publicly. Third strategy, power posture. Being bigger boosts confidence. This lowers cortisol by 25%, according to research. Speak with conviction by controlling nervousness and perfecting verbal, vocal, and visual communication. The author, like many others, was nervous before selling his services to a big real estate firm's senior management team. While waiting to go in, he took a high-power position instead of hunching over his phone to read emails. He held the Wall Street Journal outstretched. This helped him relax and give a winning presentation. After calming your nervousness, you can communicate, right? But it's complicated. We communicate 3 ways. First is spoken communication. Language affects credibility and engagement. Above all, be plain and uncomplicated. Voice communication is next. Pace, volume, pitch, vocal clarity, filler words, and animation. Your credibility may be harmed by shaky delivery. Visual communication, what the audience sees, concludes. Eye contact, posture, gestures, facial expression, body language, and attractiveness are included. Your body language, mannerisms, and utilization of space and objects make up over half of your communication. Next, blink, writing for maximum impact. Key idea number 3, for greatest impact, write concisely and actively. Writing well is as easy as ABC: active, brief, and clear. Headline advice: what, thus, next, share what, the so what and now what, explain why this information matters. Persuasive and important content must also be attractive. This aids comprehension. Bullet points increase white space and make your document more readable. Never settle for a first or second draft. Rereading a text will reveal ways to simplify it. Active voice writing is lively, succinct, and easy to grasp. Tim kicked the ball. Unambiguous. Passive voice sentences are longer and harder to understand. Tim kicked the ball. Use passive voice sparingly. Business writing starts with active voice mastery. Second, be brief. For optimum impact, write dynamic, brief, and clear. Leaders should speak clearly. Most audiences have short attention spans, so spend time crafting a message that your audience can understand and remember. Use strong verbs like is, was, were, has, had, and had. Use strong verbs to write concise, compelling phrases. Instead of made, substitute decided. Use instead. Is your writing concise but clear? Evaluate your writing. Will this material inspire my audience to act? Is my request clear? Does anything make the reader stumble? Analyze your document's headlines after learning your ABCs. These direct readers. Headlines often summarize content. Good headlines synthesize to clarify the message. Headline advice. What, thus, next, share what, the so what and now what explain why this information matters. Persuasive and important content must also be attractive. This aids comprehension. Bullet points increase white space and make your document more readable. Never settle for a first or second draft. Rereading a text will reveal ways to simplify it. Key idea number 4. Consider the problem, solution, market, and business when writing a pitch. Your business venture or collaboration pitch should be unique and impactful. How? Find a problem and persuade your audience to fix it. Provide a market-missing solution and explain how your business might improve it. Steve Jobs introduced the iPod Nano this way. Imagine 1,000 songs in your pocket. Jobs convinced everyone that their songs were inconvenient. He suggested his iPod Nano. He ignored the 16 gigabytes memory and size. He prioritized consumer benefits. Thus, their solution. The point: consider the problem, solution, market, and business when writing a pitch. Explain how the situation hurts your customers. Why? Effects? So what? Use films, graphs, or testimony to explain why this problem must be handled. This issue creates a market gap. Investors will want to see a solid business model and a plan to address the gap to extract value. Next, impress with your answer. Pitch your USP. USP explains why. Why? Now, when creating your proposal, ask, why can I address this problem better than others? What makes me unique? Demonstrate your answer to investors. Focus on benefits, not features. Market focus is next. Describe the initial target market, its size, and future growth. Promote this target market's benefits. Show that you understand and gain from serving your market. Discuss business details last. Investors want your go-to-market strategy. Share your market entry strategy and revenue model. Share milestones for profitability and investor returns. Key idea number 5. Storytelling helps people remember your message. Storytelling connects best. In reality, a powerful story should move, engage, and cement your point. Storytelling goes beyond narrative. A good storyteller also thinks how to tell it. Focus on one individual for 4 to 7 seconds, then another. When speaking to a group, share one thought. Try to engage each audience member while telling your story. Finally, value silence. Silence is as important to music as notes. Silence can emphasize what was said or what is coming in a story. Listeners can also interpret silence. Your story should show a shift over time. This alteration, however minor, influences your character's condition, attitude, actions, and sentiments. Consider, we modified our environmental practices isn't a story. It's a nice statement, but it doesn't reflect your mindset shift. So what? We used 300 plastic straws daily. We watched a trash presentation. We removed plastic straws. A tale. Storytelling connects with audiences and sticks. Jumping into the action without prelude can make a terrific tale. Later, add lessons learned. Carefully consider beginning and ending words. Good opening words will hook your viewers. The final words will motivate them. To make your narrative unforgettable, end with an image, reflection, or call to action. Avoid over or under detailing. The former may confuse or tire your audience. The latter may confuse the audience. Clarify the story's goal to properly communicate your takeaways. Why am I telling this story? How do I want the audience to feel? Storytelling goes beyond narrative. A good storyteller also thinks how to tell it. Focus on one individual for 4 to 7 seconds, then another. When speaking to a group, share one thought. Try to engage each audience member while telling your story. Finally, value silence. Silence is as important to music as notes. Silence can emphasize what was said or what is coming in a story. Listeners can also interpret silence. Key idea number 6, cue and strengthen audience engagement. The author volunteered with LGBTQ+ Speakers Bureau Speak Out Boston in the mid-1990s. Their events have 45-minute presentations and 15-minute Q&As. They discovered that audiences liked longer speakers' answers. They reduced lecture time to 15 minutes with 45 minutes for questions. Attendees enjoyed it. Clinton's response? She began by noting that both candidates opposed abortion. She then stated that when the economy is good, less women have abortions. She turned the subject to economic development and employment creation. Questions matter. You should celebrate audience questions. You've piqued their interest. Q&A periods are generally the liveliest section of an event. Q&As strengthen audience connections. Leave enough time for a vibrant, fun Q&A session after your discussion. Reuse a great graphic or image from your slide presentation to reinforce your point. Make this slide count. Restate questions to show you heard them. It also helps attendees who missed the question. Reframing a challenging question may help you answer it. There are ways to address this without discomfort. Empathy validates the question. Try to convey appreciation, thank you for raising that, or support, I can see why you could think that. Instead of being hostile, try to understand the other person. In 2000, Congressman Rick Lazio ran against Hillary Clinton for U.S. Senate. He was pro-life, she pro-choice. That's extreme. Their televised discussion was sure to discuss this. Clinton's response? She began by noting that both candidates opposed abortion. She then stated that when the economy is good, less women have abortions. She turned the subject to economic development and employment creation. Key idea number 7. Your identity shapes your leadership, ambitions, and outlook. Identity shapes your leadership, communication, and personality. However, you may want to modify that identity. When speaking in a foreign language, you may worry about whether your audience understands. Consider changing your accent. Why not embrace it? Your accent, customs, and ideals make you a leader. In 1993, First Lady Hillary Clinton had to manage that while testifying on health care reform before the Senate. She battled the mostly male senators during hearings. She drank steaming tea from a tiny teacup between breaks to balance her powerful debate style. Sometimes the issue is how well you speak a foreign language, not your accent. If so, support is available. The point: your identity shapes your leadership, ambitions, and outlook. In another language, you may use awkward sentences or words. A coach can help, but find one who will explain the corrections so you can write better without them. Add a word to a slide to help you pronounce it. Perhaps you can't say flamingo. Flamingos can convey your message. Speak slower. Leaders should speak slowly to control their message and be more succinct. Improved enunciation lets listeners hear every syllable. Say a sentence slowly with your mouth closed. We suggest increased personnel on this project. It feels strange, but exaggerating slow speech helps your brain acclimatize, making it easier to speak slowly in public. Slower speech also reduces and er. It improves your language choice and leadership presence. Women leaders must adapt to their audience due to social pressures. The author advises female leaders to read their audiences and respond with warmth or strength as needed. In 1993, First Lady Hillary Clinton had to manage that while testifying on health care reform before the Senate. She battled the mostly male senators during hearings. She drank steaming tea from a tiny teacup between breaks to balance her powerful debate style. Key idea number 8, ask your network for coach recommendations, be open-minded, and take risks. Need assistance communicating? You're not alone. Everyone needs aid to recover. Communication may require a coach. As your career evolves, you may work with several coaches like many others. Normal, elite athletes have more coaches than weekend athletes. Top tennis players have hitting, training, nutrition, and strategy coaches. Google top leaders can get executive coaching for their interests. Coaching is for skilled people who desire to improve. Set goals first. Trusted mentors and peers can assist. They can brainstorm or spot your blind spots. Find a coach that specializes in your goals. Goal setting is just the beginning. Coaches may adjust your goals, so be adaptable. The takeaway: ask your network for coach recommendations, be open-minded, and be willing to take risks. Word of mouth is best for finding a coach. Consult your coworkers. Check your HR department's approved coach list. Schedule free appointments with promising applicants. Share your aims and work samples. Ask how they'll help. Consider their suggestions and rapport when assessing their reply. Is their method logical? How does their advice affect you? Are you fostered or criticized? Is this relationship motivating? Request recommendations from former clients. After all, hiring a communication coach is an investment. Coaching works when you're open, risk-taking, and try your coach's advice. You'll never know if her advice improves you. As your career evolves, you may work with several coaches like many others. Normal, elite athletes have more coaches than weekend athletes. Top tennis players have hitting, training, nutrition, and strategy coaches. Google top leaders can get executive coaching for their interests. Coaching is for skilled people who desire to improve. Think strategically, analytically, and empathetically about your audience and their needs to become a master communicator. Armed with knowledge about who will receive your words, you can personalize your intent and message to get the most impact out of your communication. To view more content like this, subscribe. Don't forget to like and turn on notifications. The channel really benefits from it. I appreciate you being here.